After 4 years with well over 1,000 developers, 4 studios, and $34 billion behind its publisher, Battlefield Studios is preparing to reveal the greatest Battlefield game ever made, again. And those aren't my words, those are the words of Andrew Wilson, the CEO of everyone's favorite publisher, and a man who he himself said the next Battlefield is being made by quote-unquote world-class studios, and will be a tremendous live service that relies on cutting-edge technology, all things I want you to keep in mind come the game's release. The next Battlefield isn't some little B-list shooter destined for mediocrity, it's a world-class AAA title that's being built from the ground up to compete head-to-head with live service shooters like Call of Duty, while also taking on the burden of decades of publisher mismanagement. And again, those aren't my words, but they're instead representative of what this next Battlefield means and is achieved in the eyes of EA. Medal of Honor, Titanfall, Battlefront, and more have been sacrificed at the altar of live service, and now with Apex on its last legs, the next Battlefield is being entrusted with all of EA's hopes and dreams. Apex is drying up, Dragon Age is a disaster, BioWare has failed, and Electronic Arts has only one Hail Mary left outside of its sports franchises. So in today's video, let's take a step back and remind ourselves what this game actually means to EA, and how, by their own admission, the next Battlefield is a massive make-or-break moment, not just for the franchise, but for the FPS industry as well as EA as a corporate juggernaut. So hit subscribe, drop your comments below, and let's get into it. Like I was saying in the intro, the next Battlefield isn't just another game. It can't be just another generic shooter that EA is allowed to crap out and move on. Throughout the last few quarterly reports, Andrew Wilson and corporate leadership has stressed the importance of the franchise. 2042 was an abject failure, and now the publisher is hemorrhaging across not just the shooter genre, but also others as Apex Legends is starting to slip, Dragon Age Veilguard crashes and burns, and other franchises like Titanfall, Medal of Honor, and Need for Speed lay murdered at the hands of EA. So EA's not in a great spot. They've destroyed numerous memorable series such as Titanfall, Medal of Honor, and Need for Speed, while also losing the exclusive rights to Disney Star Wars, a corporate fumble so massive I'm shocked Andrew Wilson still has a job. But now with all these failures, here they sit, about to pour all their live service hopes and dreams into a 20-year-old franchise that's already got one foot in the grave. With failure after failure, it's almost a little poetic that Battlefield is the last man standing. EA canned Medal of Honor years ago with its mishandling of Warfighter's delivery. They seemingly killed Titanfall on purpose with its release window, and with Criterion now becoming a Battlefield studio, Unbound may be the last Need for Speed we ever see. At this point, EA has totally cannibalized its own business model, limiting its selection, reducing its quality, and investing so much into each game, they feel each title is simply too big to fail. Too big to fail until like 2042, like Veilguard, like Andromeda, and Battlefront 1, they do. So here we are. This Battlefield isn't meant to save the franchise, it's actually meant to save Electronic Arts. It needs to do what all those games couldn't and revive their live service offerings like Apex did in 2018. And this video isn't to question their ability. In fact, in a lot of ways I have hope for the next Battlefield, but understand this. The next Battlefield game isn't allowed to be just okay or decent. There are currently 4 studios, well over 1,000 employees, and years of development led by former Call of Duty directors like Byron Bede and Titanfall creators like Vince Zampella being thrown at this franchise. Criterion Games, the studio behind Need for Speed, is totally committed to Battlefield, meaning Need for Speed, at least for the time being, died for this new Battlefield. Understand how important this game is for Electronic Arts, and how important it is as consumers to hold this product accountable. There's no reason this game should be anything short of incredible. Battlefield 2025 is EA's nuclear option, and they have to get it right. So, like you keep hearing, while we should all be excited for the next title, Make them earn your money and hold this game to a higher level of scrutiny than ever before. EA is absolutely throwing everything they got at this title because their survival depends on it. Hearing comments that Andrew Wilson is willing to push the release to early 2026 to ensure quality is great news. But the gaming world is dominated by interesting new titles that offer innovation and new experiences for less money at a higher quality than most of what EA has been able to scrape together over the past few years. Their track record with Battlefield has been going downhill, and that's not to mention the publisher's total aversion to innovation. The next Battlefield has a huge task ahead of itself, but that's because EA's continuous flops and fuck-ups made it that way. So for better or worse, the next Battlefield needs to deliver in a way the players in EA have never seen before. But do you think they can do it? Drop those comments below, and for everything Battlefield and Delta Force, stay tuned and subscribe, and as always, thank you guys for watching.